Now, entering from the Mets dugout, the greatest home run hitting catcher in baseball history, Mike Piazza.
There's a line drive base hit in the gap. Here comes Franco, and Franco's safe at the plate. Piazza the third. Mets lead 2-0.
He loved baseball more than he loved life.
He was relentless, his attitude, his work ethic, every day, and he never gave up.
What are the odds of a 62nd round draft pick making it to the major leagues? Almost zero. And the odds of that player becoming a Hall of Famer? Essentially impossible. Unless, of course, you're Mike Piazza.
It's actually one of the best stories in baseball history.
Taken with the 1390th pick in the 1988 MLB draft, Piazza's journey to greatness is the kind of story Hollywood couldn't script. He wasn't just an underdog, he was the underdog, a player so far down the draft board that his selection felt more like a favor than a career move. And yet, against all odds, Piazza clawed his way from obscurity to immortality, becoming one of the greatest defensive catchers in baseball history.
Quite simply, the greatest hitting catcher of all time, number 31, Mike Piazza.
In 2016, he cemented his legacy as the lowest drafted player ever to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. But how does someone go from being overlooked by every scout in the game to earning a place among baseball's immortals? Let's break it down step by step. Mike Piazza wasn't born into a legacy of baseball greatness. Born on September 4th, 1968 in Norristown, Pennsylvania, he grew up like many kids, dreaming of playing baseball. But unlike most future Hall of Famers, he didn't stand out as a superstar from a young age. Piazza was raised in a blue-collar family where his father, Vince, played a pivotal role in sparking his love for the game. Vince, a die-hard baseball fan, wasn't just supportive, he was determined. He built a backyard batting cage for young Mike, ensuring his son could practice hitting anytime he wanted. And one thing about Mike, he didn't give up.
Nothing would stop him from working. In the winter, we would shovel the cage out, and he'd hit for hours. He never wanted to stop. And I knew at that time we had something special.
But even with this dedication, Piazza wasn't exactly turning heads. He had a decent high school career, but wasn't a standout. Colleges weren't scrambling to recruit him, and when he played at Miami-Dade Community College, his performance still didn't scream future star. But here's where things get interesting. Vince Piazza happened to be good friends with Tommy Lasorda, the legendary manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers. When the 1988 MLB draft rolled around, Vince leaned on his friendship with Lasorda to secure Mike a shot. Any shot to keep his baseball dream alive.
Ted Williams happened to be at a local signing out in Norristown area, and Vince went and basically contacted him and said, hey, invite him over for dinner. I'd love to have you come look over at my kid's swing.
When you hit the ball to right field, you hit him in the air more than you do on the ground? Yeah.
Lasorda convinced the Dodgers to draft Mike Piazza as a favor in the 62nd round. To put that into perspective, most players drafted this late never even sniffed the major leagues. Now this is where you ask, a draft pick born out of a favor with no expectations attached? How could this possibly lead to greatness? Because let's be honest, Mike Piazza's selection in the 1988 MLB draft wasn't exactly a scout's masterstroke. Drafted 1390th overall, he was the ultimate afterthought.
Very little about Mike Piazza's story makes sense when you look at it. 62nd round pick, no real catching experience to speak of, and he makes the Hall of Fame as a catcher.
The Dodgers didn't pick him because they saw an untapped potential or a diamond in the rough. They picked him because Tommy Lasorda wanted to do a favor for his old friend, Vince Piazza. At the time, Piazza was a first baseman, a position already overflowing with talent. To make matters worse, scouts saw nothing remarkable about this game. His hitting, average. His defense, below average. In fact, some thought he'd never make it out of rookie ball. But Piazza saw it differently. He didn't care why he was drafted or how low his chances were. All he needed was an opportunity, and he planned to make the most of it. With the Dodgers' suggestion, Piazza transitioned to catcher, a role he'd never played before. It was a long shot, but one he embraced wholeheartedly. And guess how he paid his father back for doing what he did for Mike?
This one has a chance. Home run! Mike Piazza, and the Mets lead 3-2.
I think that home run was really a sign of everything is going to be normal.
If there's one thing Mike Piazza knew how to do, it was to prove people wrong. The moment he joined the Dodgers organization, Piazza took his opportunity seriously. He dedicated himself to becoming a catcher, a position that demands physical toughness, mental sharpness, and above all, relentless work ethic. And boy, did he work.
You know what I loved most about baseball? That I felt the more that I applied myself, the more I could see myself improving.
Piazza's training regimen was grueling. He studied the game, working tirelessly on his swing and footwork. His defensive skills, once a glaring weakness, steadily improved. And while catching wasn't his natural position, he used his sheer determination to make it work.
Sense that when my dad gave me the batting cage and machine that I could work on it, every year I would see myself hitting the ball further.
But Piazza didn't just want to be a good player. He wanted to be great. His hitting, in particular, became a standout feature. Coaches quickly noticed his raw power and ability to drive the ball with authority. With countless hours of batting practice, Piazza transformed into a legitimate offensive threat. Piazza's time in the minors wasn't glamorous, but it was where he earned his stripes. Starting at the lowest levels of the Dodgers farm system, he faced constant skepticism. Coaches and teammates doubted he could make it as a catcher, let alone as a major league player.
It was very difficult, and I was fighting a number of factors. Being a last round pick, not signing for a lot of money because the team doesn't have a lot invested in you, and you're, disposable.
But Piazza used the doubters as fuel. Year after year, he chipped away at their criticisms, improving in every aspect of the game. His hitting, it became lethal. His defense, no longer a liability.
There wasn't a lot of hype around Mike when he first came up, but you started seeing the numbers that he was putting up in Los Angeles. He was maybe the brightest star in the game.
By the early 1990s, Piazza's efforts paid off. His breakout season in Double-A put him on the map, as he showcased one of the most powerful and consistent swings in all of minor league baseball. By 1992, it was clear that Piazza wasn't just surviving, he was thriving. And when he got the call to join the Dodgers, he made it count. Basically, from the bottom of the farm system to the brink of the big leagues. Piazza was proving one thing: he was no charity case.
He was a superhero. He was something that every team wanted.
When Piazza made his MLB debut in 1992, few expected him to make much of an impact. After all, he was the pity case. But little did anyone know he was about to blow the scene. In his first full season in 1993, Piazza exploded onto the scene, hitting .318 with 35 home runs and 112 RBIs. And let me tell you, those numbers didn't just make him one of the best rookies in baseball. They made him one of the best players, period. Unsurprisingly, he was named National League Rookie of the Year, becoming the first catcher to win the award since 1972. And this was just the start. Piazza quickly established himself as one of the most feared hitters in baseball.
Into the air to deep right field. That goes Quinn, looking up, and it's out of here! The Mets win the ball game! Mike Piazza with a two-run opposite field home run off Trevor Hoffman.
His combination of power and consistency was almost unheard of for a catcher. Pitchers dreaded facing him, and fans couldn't get enough of his tape measure home runs. By the mid-1990s, Piazza was more than just an elite player, he was a superstar. His move to the New York Mets in 1998 only elevated his profile.
I want to be very clear and say that as much as I loved coming up with the Dodgers and will always cherish my time there, I'm going to go in as a New York Met.
Playing in the bright lights of New York, Piazza became the face of the Mets, carrying the team on his back and solidifying his status as one of the best defensive catchers of all time.
Became a New York Met and truly have a special relationship here with the fans of the Mets, so thank you.
Mike Piazza's career was defined by records, accolades, and moments that left fans in awe. Over his 16-year career, he became a 12-time All-Star and a 10-time Silver Slugger Award winner, both of which remain unprecedented achievements for a catcher.
For all of the home runs hit by Mike Piazza, more than 401, still clearly resonates. It's an at-bat that took less than 90 seconds, but has seemed to last across 2 decades.
One of the most iconic moments came in 2000 when Piazza set the record for most home runs by a catcher, a title he still holds to this day with 396. His bat was his greatest weapon, and his numbers reflected it. 427 career home runs, a .308 batting average, and 1,335 RBIs. But Piazza's career wasn't just about statistics, it was about clutch performances. His 15-game RBI streak for the Mets in 2000 remains one of the most impressive streaks in MLB history. And who could forget his iconic home run against the Braves on September 21, 2001, the first game in New York following the 9/11 attacks?
Anytime you heard a plane going overhead, you got a little bit nervous. I just remember praying, Lord, please help me get through this night.
That moment transcended baseball, becoming a symbol of hope and resilience for an entire city.
We put a little Band-Aid on a big wound.
I think it started the healing process. People walked out of there and kind of hugged each other and said, we're going to be all right. We're going to be okay.
Piazza's greatness extended beyond the field as well. His ability to connect with fans and his gratitude towards his audience made him a beloved figure.
You guys cheered for me, and you pulled for me, and that just shows what we have and what we have shared.
Despite his fame, he carried himself with humility, never forgetting his improbable journey from the 62nd round of the draft. A catcher with power like a slugger and the clutch gene of a legend, Mike Piazza rewrote the rule book for his position. In 2016, Mike Piazza achieved the ultimate honor, induction into the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
As chairman of the National Baseball Hall of Fame, it is my honor, Mike, to welcome you into the Hall of Fame family.
His journey from obscurity to Cooperstown was officially complete, and he became the lowest drafted player ever to receive the honor.
My father's faith in me, often greater than my own, is the single most important factor of me being inducted into this Hall of Fame. We made it, Dad. The race is over.
But his Hall of Fame induction wasn't just about his numbers. It was a tribute to his work ethic, determination, and the ability to defy expectations at every turn. Piazza's plaque in Cooperstown immortalizes him as one of the greatest catchers to ever play the game. This honor capped off a career that had already earned him recognition from the teams he played for. In 2013, the Mets inducted Piazza into their own Hall of Fame, celebrating his contributions to the franchise. For Piazza, being remembered as a Met was particularly meaningful. His relationship with New York fans ran deep, forged through unforgettable moments and mutual respect. Even today, his name remains synonymous with the Mets, a franchise forever grateful for the player who helped define an era.
The way he carried himself, personally and professionally, and the way that he represented the Mets, he was one of a kind.
From the 62nd round to Cooperstown, Piazza's story is more than just improbable, it's legendary. It's true that he was taken as a favor, but did he not prove himself through years and years of hard work and practice? He turned that one chance into one of the most legendary careers in MLB history. From overlooked and underestimated to Hall of Fame immortal, Piazza proved that greatness isn't given, it's earned.
Because when you're drafted after as many people before Mike, you got a lot of people who were on. Mike didn't just make it, he made it all the way to Cooperstown.
For every underdog chasing a dream, his story stands as a shining example. How far can pure determination and relentless work take you? The answer? Pretty darn far. So what do you think? Do you think Piazza would have made it without his incredible work ethic? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're inspired by this story of overcoming the odds, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more jaw-dropping sports journeys. Because just like Piazza, we believe in proving the world wrong, no matter where you start.